evening, everybody. Welcome to Making Meaning with Joel Corda. This is episode 47. I have a pre-taped interview. I did it about 2 hours ago. Finished up about an hour ago with my friend Parrett. Got a lot of good stuff that we can talk about there. I'm very excited about this. Not excited about trying to add stuff that didn't work here. Trying to get more things in here, peeps. Sorry about that. It is the ongoing fun of being me, I guess. We will figure these things out as we go. I'm trying to see if I can find the one that will show me where everybody talks. I don't know where that text box. No, we don't need that. Okay, let's just do the show for crying out loud. Been busy over here doing a bunch of different stuff. Have a nice busy day today. Some different things occurring. Let me change this so you can see it. Went to Winifred, Montana and played a benefit. So there's a gentleman out there who about 3 years ago got diagnosed with cancer and thought that was the end. So we wanted to throw a party for his birthday, throw a huge rager. Worked out pretty well. Following year, still around, throws another huge rager, goes into remission, says, I don't think I want it to just be about me. So we're going to throw a party for the town, and we're going to give all the money to cancer research. And it was great out there. So I skipped the sip on Saturday to help out. This is it. I was at Winifred Tavern. And I'd never been to Winifred before, not that I know of. I think the furthest I'd been that way was Judith Mountain Lodge, which is also very pretty. Here's a nice diagram. That red brick building is where it used to be a bank, and they have apartments in there, and they got me a room there, which was great. There's the sky and people playing. There's a better look at the bank. Let's see, where am I? That's the side of the bank looking towards the bar. Yeah, it was beautiful out there. That sunset, just like anywhere in Montana, basically. And this was the inside of the bar. This was before I started, but it was packed, and people were very sweet. The other big thing is, so I hustled home on Sunday and picked up Nadine because it was our 29th anniversary. That's right, people. 29. Beat that. I don't think, plenty of people have. I didn't get approval of this, but we went to a nice dinner at Planck, and I took this picture of my sweetie, who does not look like she has aged 3 years in the almost 30. There she is. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to play this song for her. Stepping stone values, tenderness lost. It's been a spell since I've slowed it all down. Looked on your face, it's a look on your face. The care, the time, the intent, the thought. Baby, I can be here now. 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 It's kicking up a gale from the outside world, from within, never been without. Can count on one hand the times when we've lost the thread, but countless are the times I've assumed. Hey baby, I can be here now. 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 You've given much more than you've taken. I can't nearly say the same. It's not that these words are faded. It's the eye that's occasionally sane. Just put down those dishes, turn off the TV. We'll let the boy play in traffic for a while. Let's turn on some music. Let's move for a while. 'Cause these moments won't always be here now. Well, I can be here now. 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 That's for my beautiful bride. Here is a message from O'Boyle Steelworks.
Strength, story, steel.
That's O'Boyle Steelworks.
Every knife we forge is one of a kind, built to last, built for you. From custom blades to hand-etched detail.
Each piece carries history in its steel.
Whether for daily use or as a showpiece for generations, we craft it by hand right here in Montana. Find O'Boyle Steelworks on Instagram, Facebook, Etsy, and Patreon.
Strength, story, steel.
Got that fixed. So it was nice to have Aaron Parrett here. Did his intro, did his interview. Before I do anything else, he recorded a song in this spot right here. So I want to play that for us first before I roll the interview. Yes, this is a premiere song called Rocking Chair, just for us. Aaron Parrett, ladies and gentlemen.
Crossed into Wyoming, wondering why I'd come. 'Cause I don't like the sagebrush or the pines. People here look haggard, I don't mean the Merle kind. Waving flags and signs and beating on their drum. My rocking chair lies broken on the lawn, and I guess it's time that I was moving on. I was too poor to pay attention, too slow to count the ways. My mother always said I was a rake. But if you make it to the border, take these letters to my wife. Don't tell her that you saw I was afraid. soul river carved its way through 10 million years of stone. I can't even find the way back home. My rocking chair lies broken on the lawn, and I guess it's time that I was moving on. Yeah, my rocking chair lies broken on the lawn, and I guess it's time that I was moving on.
Hell yeah, buddy. Damn good. Thank you.
Thanks, that's the
Brand new.
most recent one, yeah.
How about that? Yeah, thank you, Aaron, for that. I do need to talk about this again. Here we go, people. My friend, Seth Lutter, putting it on the line, people, so you can come and see. Yeah, you don't know who it is, but you know that it's blues. You know it's rock. You know that it's Southern Americana. You know they've released albums and been on soundtracks. Why can't he talk about it? Contractually, they're not allowed to. Why would that be? Can't say. Do you know this is going to be a great concert? You need to go. You cannot say, there's nothing to do here, like we like to say in Great Falls a lot of times. Some people love to say there's nothing to do. I say you're not trying. Go to the Mystery Box concert. Get there. Sunday night, Kellergeist. $15. You get a free beer. You get there at 7. You get some great music. I don't know what else to tell you. I think that's as good as it can get sometimes. And how often do we get to be surprised and know that a guy is risking his own personal monetary life force to make this stuff happen? So if you know the guy that brought you the Santa Crawl, if you know the guy that was behind the Mister Sisters, then you need to go to this show. Help him out. Hopefully he doesn't have to keep doing shows that he can't advertise without telling people their names. But that's what we're getting this time. It's going to be good. Get there, everybody, please. All right, without further ado, I need to run the interview that I just had with my friend, Aaron Parrett. My guest tonight has spent much of his life asking how stories shape us and then finding new ways to tell them. Born in Butte, Montana, Aaron Parrett was a professor of English literature at the University of Providence in Great Falls. He earned his PhD in comparative literature and has built a career that stretches far beyond academia. He is an author, songwriter, musician, letterpress printer, and book artist whose work explores Montana history, literature, music, and the enduring power of story. He is also the executive director of the Drumlummon Institute, dedicated to preserving and promoting Montana literature and art. His handmade books have received national recognition, his music has appeared in documentary films, and viewers of Anthony Bourdain's visit to Butte may recognize him as one of the storytellers who helped introduce Montana to the world. Whether he's teaching Shakespeare, printing books by hand, writing songs, or preserving Montana's cultural memory, Aaron Parrett reminds us that stories aren't just entertainment, they're how we remember who we are. Please welcome, hold on, let's do it, Aaron Parrett. Da, da, da. 2 cameras, you're on, buddy.
Proud to be here.
Yay.
Good to see you, Joel.
Great to see you. We were talking about playing music together a couple, was that 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, just randomly showed up at the same party and instantly started playing.
Instantly. Well, we were told to play, I think. There's a little of that. I tend to not want to be that guy, mostly. But in that situation, it actually worked out pretty well.
It was great. Yeah. My wife is always trepidatious about just, pulling out an instrument at a party. But I'm like, 90% of the time, people are relieved to have something to focus their attention on, even if it's bad.
I agree. And if it's that bad, the ghost of John Belushi will come and smash our guitars.
That's right. I thought we sounded pretty good, especially for never having played together.
Right? And we did all originals mostly, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
absolutely.
By the way, I want to show this off before I get too far into it. I went to a show, this was a year ago at the Spacement that I got this.
Oh, that was a great show.
Yeah. That makes me want to, actually, I'm going to jump ahead.
Yeah.
So I've been playing a ton around. I just played in Winifred, and it was super fun. And I play at the SIP every weekend. I went to an Avett Brothers concert on Sunday night,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed even the Avett Brothers will not have people stop talking. Right?
Yeah.
Like there's people that'll spend $100 on tickets and then just
Talk through the show.
talk through the show. I was thinking of having a talking section and a non-talking section rather than smoking or not smoking.
Right.
What's your perfect like venue? What's been one of your best, most favorite gigs just because it's been what it should be?
One of the first ones that pops into my head was that Spacement show. That was a magical venue, great crowd. And, there were points when people in the back were talking, but I think it was, because they were in almost another room.
Par for the course, yeah.
But that was great. And then recently, I've played a couple shows at the Unionville Schoolhouse.
Really?
Unionville is 3 or 4 miles outside of Helena.
Okay.
And they have this old schoolhouse. I think it was built in the 1890s or something. And we used to play square dances in there,
Yes.
But one of the people who lives up in that neighborhood is Anna Baker, and she's a master carpenter, and she got to snooping around the building and realized it was not on a foundation.
Okay.
And it has big plate glass windows that were not framed in at all.
Oh boy.
And so they got a bunch of grants to refurbish this building and move it 6 feet onto a foundation. Amazing story. I wrote an article about it for, I think, Senior News or something.
Okay.
But anyway, it's a great venue. It seats about 50, 60 people.
Perfect.
Super intimate, and none of the talking that we were talking about. Like,
They show up and listen.
yeah, and you don't have to use PA or anything.
See, that'd be my favorite.
Yeah, it's great.
Get me in. Get me in, coach.
But it is a funny thing, Speaking of square dances, I've gotten in arguments with, the people who put on square dances. They're like, you need a PA. And I'm like, really? Why? And they're like, well, we have to be able to hear the music above the collar. And I'm like, oh, you're right. Nobody did a square dance before electricity.
Right. Right.
I think there's just been a real change in, how people behave when they go to hear live music. And it's not so much to hear the music, maybe, as to say you were there.
Yes.
And people want to talk. I get it.
I see, and I don't get it. Like it's like, okay, I've spent this time and energy and effort,
Right.
studied the music, and I know that I'm a weirdo. I get it. Do you know what I mean? But
I
give
do.
me a spot where I can actually just pay attention and I have to deal with lay masses. That's really what I'm looking for.
Well, and I think a lot of musicians are, for sure, and I do strive for that. But on the other hand, like, think about the party we were at.
Yeah.
If we weren't playing music and there was another band there, I haven't seen you in
Yeah,
6
that's
months.
true. Right.
It's like, I want to talk to you, but I also want to hear the music. But the
Yes.
problem is it becomes an arms race where, musicians
gonna
turn
turn
up
it
the
up.
PA,
Yep.
and then everybody starts talking louder.
Yep.
And then turn up the PA, and then pretty soon you have to wear earplugs to go see a show.
Yes. No, I get all. Here's the other thing. Nobody paid tickets prices to see us,
Right.
and we bombed their party, right?
But they liked it.
They did like it. When I'm playing at the SIP, I don't expect people to not talk. They're there to go to the bar,
Right.
right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's
No,
all
totally, yep.
it's all a context thing.
It truly is.
But I don't understand when the context changed, because it's been in the last 5-6 years that I've really seen so much more of that just crappy behavior, I would call it.
Well, that's interesting because I think, when I lived in the South, I played in a lot of bars.
Yeah.
Like 40 Watt Club is probably a good example.
You got to play the 40 Watt Club?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
But there's 300 or 400 people in there.
Yep.
And the music is so loud that they can't really talk. Like, you have to shout into somebody's ear to be heard. And so that sort of forces it to be about
The music.
the music. But again, it would be nice for me if it was just less volume.
I agree about less volume. I'd love to never plug in.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I got opera training because I wanted to be heard.
Right.
So I worked at it pretty regularly, and I can play the guitar fairly loud. I use it more like a percussion instrument anyway.
Right.
But no, that's really interesting to get your perspective. When did you first start? When were you first playing music?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a long story, but when I was a kid, I wanted to be in the band in the worst way. I wanted to play some instrument. But, back in the 70s, to get in the school band, you had to take a test, which consisted of going in and the teacher would play a few notes on the piano and they'd say, which one is higher? And to my totally unmusical, untrained ear, that was like saying, which one is more purple?
Right.
No context. So
Right.
I never got to get in the band. And consequently, I never developed an ear anything. And by, I was probably 17 or 18, senior in high school. And I was like, I am going to get a guitar and learn how to play it. Which I did, but I couldn't make the F chord. It was just too hard. And I
Still
ended up
can't make the F chord.
smashing this guitar into the wood stove. And then I was on my way to U of M and I thought, I got to get an instrument. And I went back down to the guitar store and there was a banjo on the wall and I just kind of flicked my fingers across it. And I was like, oh, that's the sound for me. And so I started really with the banjo and, it was 5 years of playing before I could learn from a record. Like I don't have a natural music ear like a lot of people do.
Right. Right.
And it's really only been in the last 10 years that I could hear harmony and sing that part, So for anybody who thinks they're, tone deaf or completely not a musician, I'm here to tell you,
Yeah.
it might take 40 years like it did me, but
Yeah. No, I'm not.
you can do it.
I'm not a fast guy. You know what I mean? Like what I know, but I'm with you. Like there's so many things. I was taken from a theater job into a choir job because I have a music degree. My music degree was in singing as loud as I possibly could alone.
Right.
It wasn't in choir.
You have a really good voice, though.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But that was where the work was, though, right? Like that's what I spent my time doing. So then when they put me in the choir setting, they're like, well, you should be able to do this. Never trained to hear
Notes.
those, not with three people.
Right. Yeah.
I still struggle with it. I'm a little better at it just because I've got more reps in.
Right.
But I'm much better in a support role for, to help with choirs rather than being the guy because I can't hear the things that are going on well enough yet. Maybe in another 10 years, like you're saying.
Well, and when you're around somebody who does have that natural, like my wife can just hear any part.
Yeah.
Like just they hear it. And I so envy that. But I think people should know that even if you can't, with a lot of practice, you can get close.
You can get close. Did you see Jeff Tweedy when he came through?
I did not.
I think my favorite thing about the concert was everybody on stage with him was either a kid of his or he babysat personally.
That's awesome.
Right. So he's doing this thing where he's saying, hey, if you start a neighborhood band, you don't have to sound good. Listen to us. We're not that good. Of course, every one of them is playing and singing harmony. So at times there'd be like 12 layers of sound. It's like,
what a great way to grow up.
That part, the square dances and just that get together and do the thing. I think that morphed into something that I was never good at, which is like the jam band stuff. I'm not really interested in that.
Yeah.
I like song form. I think you're...
Me too, yeah.
I think we've talked about that. Verse, chorus, change, get out, that's Hank Williams Sr.
And a lot of that country music is, based on the old-time fiddle tradition, which is also, AABB or verse, chorus. But something you said made me think that one of the things that's so appealing about like that square dance music is it's designed for people to dance to.
Yes.
And in the early history of Montana, in the 1860s, there was no electricity. And you go into a bar and people just played whatever instrument was there. Usually not a piano, maybe a banjo and a fiddle.
Yeah.
And it's
and
largely about rhythm.
Yep.
You don't have to be a fancy
no
picker or hit a lot of notes. That's nice if you can do it, but as long as you got the we call it the throb.
Ooh.
The dun 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 dun. And you hear it in heavy metal too.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Just that beat.
Yeah. Well, Johnny Cash.
And Johnny Cash.
I mean, what did he say? The The money's in the first 3 frets.
Right. You get up past the 5th fret, you're just showing off.
All right, so I'm way off track because there's a lot more to you than just the music.
Yeah.
So you were writing the whole time too. When did you start writing?
You mean like
As a kid? Was it
no,
always?
No, I never. I mean, I wrote in college a lot of papers, but I didn't publish anything fiction, or I didn't publish anything till I was like 33.
That sounds right on time, though.
Yeah, I think like anything else, if you skip college and just go right to the thing, you'd probably be much further along.
You think that's true?
Oh, I do, totally, yeah. So I wish I had written a lot more as a kid or in college, but I didn't write a song really till, I don't know, it was probably late 20s.
Yeah. How did that feel the first time?
That's a really good question. I don't really remember, except that I remember thinking it's really hard not to just sound like some other song.
Yeah. No, there's no original ideas.
It's true. And so I forget who said it, that, there's only 13 notes, they're bound to repeat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that we have is it filters through this
Right.
instrument or this instrument or that instrument or this combination. That's really the only thing that makes it interesting at all.
And I'm all the time hearing songs on the radio, 3 or 4 note bursts, and I'm like, oh, that's from that other
Yep.
song.
Yeah, me too. 100%. I'm just making sure that we're accurately recording. Tell them what you're in town for before I forget.
Oh, yeah.
Because while this airs, we're doing this early so that while this airs, you're going to be doing a presentation.
Actually, I'm just giving 5 or 10 minutes worth of remarks at the Little Shell facility. I'm not sure what it's called out on Stuckey Road, but the celebration is in honor of the reprinting of the history book that my friend Nicholas Vroman down in Helena wrote 25 years ago, called "The Whole Country Was One Robe."
Wow.
And that was a Drumlummon book
Yeah.
that my predecessor, the founder of Drumlummon, Rick Newby, worked with Nick to put it out. And it is by far the most popular book that we ever published. And they only printed, I think, 2,000 copies, and they've been long sold out. And I would say I probably got an email a month from somebody, mostly in Canada.
Yeah.
It's a lot of this history takes place in Canada. Where can I get a copy of that book? Because if you try to buy one on eBay, it was like $600 or $700. Like, they're that rare.
That's cool, though.
And,
are you going to reprint this back?
well, it's been reprinted. The Montana Historical Society and Drumlummon and some other people raised a bunch of money, and they reprinted it in a really nice hardback edition. And that's what the celebration is for.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's a
Now,
really
did you
great
design
thing.
any of the reprint stuff?
Nope, that was all Jeff Bartos at the Montana Historical Society headed all that up.
All right. So how'd he do? You know
I
how
have
he did.
not seen the book.
And if it's bad, you're going to give him some notes. I hope.
No, we saw mock-ups of it.
So look good.
It looks fantastic. And one of the things about this book that made it so difficult to reprint is it's full of pictures, which require a lot of permissions.
Oh God. Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
a tribal history.
Yeah. So you've got some
lot
speaking to
of-
do.
Well, not me so much as the other people involved. And Nick Vroman sadly died a few years ago, but
Okay.
Chris Latreille, who I'm
Yes.
sure you know,
Yes.
wrote that book, Becoming Little Shell, and he and Nick were pretty close. So he's the keynote speaker tonight.
That's pretty fun. Are you sad that you're not going to be able to play some music afterwards?
I texted Chris this morning and I said, "Are you going to bring a guitar or something? Because there's going to be a Métis fiddler there." And I'm like, maybe afterward we could all jam or something.
You get it?
And he said, I should just read the text.
Let's out him right now.
Well, I don't
What did he say about this nonsense?
No, he's just one of the funniest people I know. And I said, "Are you going to bring a guitar?" And he said, I said, "Hi, Chris, are you bringing a guitar to the event tomorrow?" He said, "I have no idea of anything to do with tomorrow. I'll be lucky to bring myself." But he will be there and give, I'm sure, amazing presentation like he always does.
That's pretty great. I know of him. I think you've told me a lot about him. I'll have to meet him sometime.
Oh, you got to meet him. He's great.
Sounds great. Tell me about the printing press. And like, how about this? When you were professoring, I think you were balancing a whole lot more.
Yes.
So I still think you're balancing a lot. So tell me what a typical day is for you.
Well, my main day job now is I'm like a home repair guy. So I I'm redoing the entire outside of this apartment building in Helena, pretty much alone.
Wow.
But I work 6 or 8 hours and get tired of that, and then in addition to drumline, I also have a letterpress, which is completely different.
Right.
That's
You're
handset type.
You're doing it yourself.
Yeah, with little pieces of lead type that you have to arrange in a
What
row.
what part of your brain is that tickling? Because it's different than the other stuff, right?
Oh, it's completely different. It's very slow, and you have a lot of time to think about what you're doing. It's ridiculous for dissemination of information, because offset printing now is so much faster, or the computer.
Sure.
You really don't need to print anything anymore. But there's something about the tactile feel of letterpress. People notice it, and it just feels different, and it reads differently. Before I got into letterpress printing and typography, which is the study of letter forms and all that, I never realized how important that stuff is. And I think there were a lot of books when I was in my 20s that I got disgusted with and threw across the room, but not because I didn't like the writing or didn't realize I'd like the writing, but because they were just so badly presented.
Yeah.
And then, you think about a book that you do like, and I'm trying to think of good examples, like vintage paperbacks. The typography is awesome, or even more the Penguin paperbacks.
Yeah.
Just the whole book design. And then, of course, many years later, I realized those were all designed by Jan Tschichold, who's one of the great book designers. So, of course, they're great.
Where's I don't think I have one. The Jim Thompson books.
Oh, yeah.
The Lizard Press?
Black Lizard.
Yeah.
Those are vintage books.
Okay.
So that's
I was going to ask.
Imprint of vintage, and
Super easy to read, right?
Really easy on the eyes. They're a nice size. They're just those. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think, I'm probably stretching, do you think the tactile nature of it has to do with just your own philosophy of the meaning and weight of words itself? Do you think it has anything to do with that?
I'm sure it does. I probably can't articulate it as well as somebody like Peter Koch, who's a master printer and been doing this his entire life. But I guess I would say that the experience of reading a book that's letterpress printed really is different from.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with a mass market paperback. I call it airplane fiction. You buy it in the airport store and you read it, and then you leave it on the garbage can for somebody else. That's important also, but when you get a book that's really well made and printed and a joy to hold, it does affect the way you process the text.
Yeah. You give weight and meaning to the intent of the writer, and you kind of actually become the editor of that film in a way.
That's interesting. Yeah, when I was in grad school, I took classes with Hugh Kenner, who's like the great modernist literary critic, and he knew T.S. Eliot and James Joyce and Ezra Pound, all those people. I mean, he really he brought in Ezra Pound's daughter to our class one time.
That's pretty great.
It was awesome. But he wrote a whole book in which he argued that the first writer to ever really write with the printing press in mind, like typography and how this is going to lay out, was James Joyce.
Really?
Yeah, and he was meticulous. So they call them galleys after you set the type.
Yeah.
And then you print a sheet.
Yes.
And then the writer has to go back through and correct all the errors. And he would use that opportunity to rewrite stuff, which I'm sure drove the printers and the editors nuts. But
I think that guy in general, just from reading him, I don't know how much of a good hang he'd be. I think he'd be fun for about 45 minutes.
There's a famous story. I'm sure it's apocryphal, but somebody asked him how's the writing going, And he said, well, not that great. I only wrote 7 words today. And they're like, oh, well, but for you, that's pretty good, 7 words. And he said, yeah, but I don't know what order they go in yet.
Classic. All right, so I haven't even asked one of these yet. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
I mean, we're covering it. We're doing well. You spent your life working in words, music, and print. When you zoom out, what do you think they all have in common?
That's a really, really good question, but I guess I would say it all stems from my own experience of reading and listening to music and, watching other people play.
Okay.
Those are all really, I think, important experiences when you're a kid, say, and you can't play an instrument, and then somebody shows up at your house and starts playing your piano.
Right.
And just, thinking about humans do amazing stuff. And you see somebody do something, and then you're like, oh, I'd like to
try that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the same with writing. I taught writing for many years, and I just don't think you can teach writing, but you can tell people a lot of old saws and adages about, write what you know. But I think the most important thing is if you want to be a writer, you're going to have to read 10 times more than you're reading now.
Yes.
If you want to be a musician, you got to start listening to music you don't like.
Correct.
You got to listen to pop radio, and you got to reverse engineer all that stuff and think about, oh, why that chord's changed there, or, all that stuff. So to me, it's not so much creativity as kind of engineering. It's like you look at a log cabin and you think, oh, that looks like something I could probably build. You just cut notches and put the logs together.
Right.
And then you get involved in it and you realize, oh, there's a lot more. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite watches on Instagram, by the way. There's this guy that goes out in the woods and just uses an axe. Have you watched that guy too?
I watch those kind of videos. Like, I probably waste 2 hours a day just watching people make stuff.
It's kind of my favorite. All right, so what's happening right now is for some reason it froze up there. It's still recording, but I want to put it back up there because I want you to see the stuff that we're talking about. Okay, good. I don't know why it does that to us, but we're back, and I didn't want to interrupt your
that's fine.
answer because it's awesome. See, I think that's a bad one. Which one feels like home? What do you return to the most? Like if you're trying to really connect with, the Mr. Parrett of it all, what's the part where you're like, okay, if I could get a guitar in my hand, Is it write something to express yourself? Or do they all kind of do the same thing for you now?
Also a good question. And I would say we just had lunch at that awesome Mexican restaurant where Bert and Ernie's used to be.
Yeah. Xochitl or whatever.
Xochitl. Awesome food.
What'd you have? Because I haven't been yet.
I had chicken and chorizo with rice and beans, which sounds boring, but it was really
well done. Okay.
And at lunch we were talking about sort of the same thing, and I was telling my friends that I paint a house for 6 hours or whatever, but then I feel like I have to go do something else. Like I'll write for a while, but
Yes.
if I start out the day writing, after a couple hours, it's like I got to go do something with my hands.
Yes.
I really think a lot of people, and I'm one of them, they just don't feel right unless they're doing something physical. Usually with my hands. Whereas I think most writers are perfectly happy to just write, and
Right.
But then, there's a lot of books of people who write and then they garden, It's
Yes.
like,
No, there's always some. I also have a feeling like I don't know your ins and outs. We're acquainted, and I'd say friendly.
yeah.
I'm gonna call you a friend from here on out. But like I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD till I was 50,
Really?
and I realized that a lot of my jumping around, trying to do film stuff, trying to do music stuff, trying to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of it was just to keep that part of me moving forward and out of trouble in school mostly.
Right. Oh, I got kicked out of school.
So
Yeah,
okay,
all
so
that stuff.
so here we go.
Well, who was the comedian who said, I have ADD? It's not just attention deficit disorder, but it's a really high definition. There's probably part of that for sure, but I think of it more like I'm just interested in a lot of stuff.
That's it. That's it. And you're trying to, you want the rainbow. Like, that's how I try to explain it to a lot of people. It's like, I just want more than one. I've never been able to understand people. I'm going to go do my job, and I'm going to come home, I'm going to eat my dinner, then I'm going to watch TV.
I do a fair amount of that also.
I'm not saying that I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that but I'm saying there's a part of me too that like, okay, now I better write a song.
Right.
I better go be writing some script or doing, it can't just be that. And some people are perfectly happy doing that.
And there's, nothing wrong with that.
No.
Here's another thing that may be a factor in all this is I envy people who are really, really good at something. So I think of like Jamie Foxx, the Métis fiddler. I don't think she's here today, but there will be an event in Helena that she's going to fiddle at. Like, if you were that good a fiddler, why would you do anything else?
Right. Right. But she does, right?
Oh, I'm sure she does. But I just think there are people who are really, really good at something, and they make that, their passion, and they devote everything to that. And then there's, I think, people like me who are, mostly competent in a lot of different things, but not an expert. And
samesies.
You
get good at it. I mean, the reps help.
Pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
How would you rate yourself as a professor now that you're through that career?
Oh, I'm sure you can go on Rate My Professor.
I don't care what they say. I care about what you say.
I still haven't processed my time as a professor fully, but I would say for the people who are like me, I was great.
Yeah.
But for people who learn in different styles that I'm not adept at catering to,
yes,
probably not that good.
I find it interesting that that's what's changed about teaching in general, is just the pure entertainment that we're supposed to be doing. Rather than like when I was a kid, you didn't vibe with a teacher. You had to figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
You had to figure out how to survive that.
So different. and it imparted us a bunch of skill sets to us that kids today don't have. And I could get really cynical about teaching, but I really think that, I don't even know where to start my whole diatribe about higher education, but I think that the transaction has dramatically changed. So when before we went to school, so say in the 60s, 70s even, school wasn't that expensive, college wasn't that expensive, but you paid the money for the opportunity to study with somebody who was an expert.
Yes.
Now the model is, I paid the money for this degree, so you need to give me an A.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, that's
it's not any different than middle school, high school, or
exactly
any of the other ones.
Because all of those, middle school on up, are all sort of designed to get kids ready for college.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the biggest myths that this country has subscribed to, is that everybody should go to college. I think everybody should be educated.
Yes. I do think we're getting better at that. I know we're getting better at that because the trade stuff that we're working on.
Huge fan of the trade.
Oh,
yeah.
One thing that I don't know if I'm proud of being able to impart it, but I impart it regularly, which is follow that itch of the thing that you love. And if there's any way that you can make money doing it,
do it.
Do it. Because what guarantees have you encountered in your life? Right?
Right.
Like, I want to do what I love. I'd love to leave lasting work behind.
Yeah, that's another element in all of this is I've realized over the years, maybe sometime in my 50s, realized that, it doesn't matter if you're good at something or the best at something, but if you're making artifacts that, 50 years from now, somebody will come across it and be like, oh, this is interesting.
Yes.
To me, that's
something.
A life well lived.
Yes, I agree. And
whether
I
it's
mark
a chair
yes.
you built,
yeah.
or a painting you made,
or a house that you're
or
working
a poem
on.
you wrote. Yeah.
I find that I like the years best that I can mark with the work that I attach to that year.
Right.
Right. So this is the year I made this album. This is the year that this happened. those kind of things. Speaking of artifacts, people can't get this, is what you're telling me. I think are we out? We out of these?
I have that edition right there with the fancy Peter Koch letterpress cover. Yeah, those are definitely sold out.
Now, did I get this special?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was only 75 of those made.
Excellent.
But there are, back when we made that, the only place that would print LP records was in Nashville, and you had to buy a minimum of 500.
Nice.
So I do have plain white covers and probably 100 of those left.
Right. But now we're going to up them. We're going to call them special editions.
That's right.
Because you better.
There's a finite number of them for sure.
Do want to show this off. And I know that you probably are thinking about getting your life together and getting out of here. Here's the Bandcamp where people can find you.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to...
we put that record out last year, and that's with a little band I play with in Helena.
I'm going to turn this up so we can hear it a little bit.
John Dendy and John Flynn.
So here's where you can go, my people. It's called the State Championship. How many other albums do you have on here? Is it this guy?
I think that's all that's up there. Yeah.
Sold out. Hurtful.
No, but it's digital free. You can download it for free.
Beautiful. I'm going to play one right now. Which one do you want us to hear?
Let's see. What's on it? Oh, that first one's pretty good. Canada.
Here we go. I don't even know if this is going to work. We're going to do it. What do you say? Come on, Canada. It's supposed to work. I don't think it wants to play. Dang it. Okay. Well, listen, people. Oh.
Running guns at 17, trading weed for gasoline. I would have
Right,
cut in line at the gates of
Get yourself
hell.
to the band.
There you go.
It might be
Free. It's free to download.
It's free to download. I love that. Probably because it's running through about 20 different systems. But holy moly. I've admired your work for a long time, my man.
Well, thank you.
I knew you a little bit through the Madsons.
Yeah.
From the teaching. Very mysterious. You'd fly into town, you'd do your classes, you'd fly right back out of here. You come back in with a book that you'd created, you'd throw it at people, you'd ride right back out of town.
I did live here for 10 years.
Where'd you live? Which part of town?
I started out on 5th Avenue North, 3300 block, in an awesome little house that's one of the oldest in Great Falls. It was built in 1885.
Nice.
And it was a little suburb of Great Falls called Boston Heights.
Boston Heights. Do we still call it Boston Heights?
There are some old timers in that neighborhood who still know that it used to be called that, and there's a park called Boston Heights Park, I think.
Right. Okay.
And the story I heard was that it was a little enclave of silversmiths that lived out there.
Okay.
And so this house that I lived in, and you know Chris Labinitz.
Yes.
Back in the early 2000s, we had some wild parties at this house. But the house was great. It was only 13 feet wide.
Oh, wow.
2-story house.
Yeah. So like almost a shotgun house.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. I loved it. It was, I tell people it was a 2-story house, but it was 900 square feet.
It's beautiful. So you were living in a tiny home before they were popular.
Right. And an old one that, somebody built. And I re-roofed it myself. And when I did, I realized that the whole building was 3 inches out of square.
And you told everybody that when you sold it, right?
No, but let me tell you the best story about this. This was the first house I ever bought.
Okay.
So I'm like 35 years old. And I didn't know how any of this worked, but I was walking through the neighborhood, and there was a for sale sign out in front of it. And what made me fall in love with this house was it had a stained glass window.
Nice.
Above the main dining room window. And I saw the for sale sign. I thought, I'm going to buy this house. So I went up and knocked on the door, and I said, I want to buy this house. And the guy looked at me, and he's like, well, that's not how it works. He's like, you got to call the number on the sign. I said, oh, okay.
You're like, I could do that, or you and I could figure this out.
So I call the number on the sign and, you know, go through all the things. But one of the things you have to do is have a home inspection where you get a guy who knows about houses. And I asked if I could go with him on the walkthrough, you know. He said, well, it takes 3 hours. And I said, that's all right. I'm curious about the process. Anyway, we start at the top and work our way down to the basement. We get down to the basement, and underneath the kitchen, there had been a fire at some point, and they replaced some of the floorboards in the kitchen, and you could still see the edges where they'd been burned and everything. But when they replaced the subfloor, it didn't quite touch the joists.
Oh.
And so the guy, I'm not making this up, the guy used Legos to space the joists, and the home inspector was laughing so hard. He's like, I got to take pictures of this. No one's going to believe me that this house is held together with Legos. Okay, that's funny, right?
Yes.
But this is even funnier. When I sold the house, the Legos were still there.
So apparently it worked.
It worked.
Legos is a multi-generational fix-it,
Yeah.
as well as a toy. No, that's awesome.
And then I live not too far from you on 3rd Avenue North. And I think it was 11 or 1200 block there.
Nice. That's pretty great. My son had a question for you.
Yeah.
Because you are a Butte historian.
Yeah. Well, literary. I wrote a book about the literature from Butte.
Okay, I hope this isn't a gotcha then. But he wanted me to ask you about the military occupation of Butte during World War I,
Absolutely. That's in my book.
when they forced him to keep working the mines. Please, will you tell? I'd never heard that till my kid told me about that, and I thought I read stuff.
Well, it's an interesting story, and I'll try to remember as much as I can from writing that book.
What book is it in?
Literary Butte.
Perfect. Okay.
And the reason it ended up in that book is that it involves Frank Little, who was lynched, assassinated by the mining, the Anaconda Company. And as a consequence of that, the miners were so incensed that they went on strike, and the military went in there. But basically, in a nutshell, the people in Butte at the time, so this is like 1916, most of them were European immigrants.
Right.
So let's say Germans and Italians. And suddenly the country is at war in Europe, and they want these guys to go down and mine copper to make bullets to kill their families back in Europe. And they're
Yes.
like, bullshit. Let's strike.
Yeah.
And because the country needed the copper so bad, they sent the U.S. military into Butte in 1916, and they didn't leave until 1920. They were there 4 years.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Military occupation. And I think what precipitated that was the what was it called? Something Road massacre, where the Anaconda Company killed a bunch of miners on their way to the strike.
Right.
Like mowed them down.
Bust them. Yeah.
That's the general story. I probably have the details wrong.
No.
But,
Listen, that's a pretty good, especially
I
something
think it's
I'd never.
Anaconda Road massacre.
Okay.
I could have the name of the road wrong, but if you Google that, there's a whole Wikipedia page about it. But it does, connect to Frank Little, and a lot of the books that I reviewed in Literary Butte had to do with the Frank Little episode.
I love it. So, what time you got to get out of here?
No,
pretty soon, don't you?
when you tell me when we're
Because
done.
what I want to do is I'm going to stop this recording.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you in my spot,
Okay.
and then you can play a song for us.
Okay.
How's that sound?
That sounds
Hey,
great.
but here's the deal. Thanks for coming, regardless.
Thank you, Joel. It's really great to hang out with you, and
It is fun, and I hope you come back because I think you have a lot more to say.
Sure, anytime, man. And you too.
Thank you. Great times with Aaron Parrett. Just wanted to say thanks again to Aaron and remind everybody to go to this Mystery Box Theater. Nadine Corda says she will be, I got to make that bigger. I'll be at the Mystery Box concert. Seth always puts together great shows. Correct. Let me see. What else do we got? Trey Dennis said, Dr. P, so cool. Fight Club as curriculum. Love that guy. I would have liked to have been in that class. Laughing at me. LMAO, don't misquote. So Dr. P. So thank you, Trey, for watching. Thank you all for watching. And again, get out there and support the shows, support the art, make your own art. Come see me again on next Tuesday night at 6. Join in the conversation. I hope to see you soon. Thank you for watching Making Meaning with Joel Corda.